All right. Shalom, everybody. Shalom. You back again with your brew. That's me, Ban Shemayim. The water for coming to watch this video with me today. Today's topic is going to be about the famine, right? It says grocery stores forced to ration as fresh food shortages hit the United Kingdom. This is by CTV News. And this is going to be the first video. Without further ado, let's get into it.
A food shortage in the UK is forcing some supermarkets to ration fruits and vegetables. And as CTV's Vanessa Lee tells us, British consumers are dealing with fallout from a combination of factors.
We've been to a couple of different supermarkets today, and there are a lot of empty shelves, a lot of signs that say temporarily out of stock. And so that is why more or less every grocery chain here has put limits in place. The one that we went to today, called Aldi, puts a limit on the number of cucumbers and tomatoes and peppers that people can buy. So it's a limit of 3 per customer. And the sign says it's so that there is enough to go around for everyone. And really, and at other grocery stores, it's not just the 3 items I just mentioned, but there's also raspberries that are in short supply. So they're limiting those, as well as bagged salad and cauliflower as well. And there are a couple of reasons for this. The first one that you mentioned is weather. So the UK gets a lot of its produce from Morocco and Spain, which has been hit with adverse weather, everything from drought to heavy rain and even a cold snap. It was actually snowing in Morocco yesterday. And Spain has also been hit hard, and its tomato crop is 20% smaller than it was last year. And this combined with another issue, because there's a lot of produce that is grown here in the UK as well, but there are local farmers who didn't grow as much this year because of high energy costs. They use the heated greenhouses, and because of skyrocketing costs, they did not grow as much. And so that is why we are seeing this shortage at the supermarket.
So y'all hear that, right? Y'all hear the excuses? They said, let's name one excuse. They said the growing energy costs, which we're experiencing also here in America, right? They said the other one was severe weather, the storms and the droughts, which we are experiencing also in America, right? We had the real hot summer, which was hard on vegetables and everything, killed a whole bunch of cows. They overheated and everything like that. And then we also had well, of course we got a winter freeze. Now California getting smashed with snow and everything. And then we got the real drought, the rain drought, like the Mississippi River and the Colorado River. Is it the Colorado River? Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it's the Colorado River. But our rivers are drying up here, right? So we experiencing the same issue. The weather is causing mass shortages around the world. Of course, they're not going to tell you, just flat out tell you it's a shortage. I got a buddy, 123J. Shout out 123. He drive trucks, and he says, "Look, man, I got another buddy who told me the same thing too. He said that the food, they not getting as many food trucks. You're not seeing food move as much as it used to move. There's a shortage right now, and they're not gonna tell people, because if they told you it was a shortage, what would be your response? What would be the response of the world if CNN, CBC, what is it? CNN, MNSBC, and Fox all got on all their networks under them, and was like, look, massive shortage coming, incoming, massive shortage. Most people would go to the store and they would go shopping. It would be a mass buy then, right? Which would hurt, because that would hurt the shortage even more. People went in the stores and started buying everything up in a massive way. They would start immediately. You would see them start doing like they doing in Europe, which is limiting you to buying a certain amount of each item fruits, vegetables, whatever the case may be. Without further ado, let's get into this next video. This is all Portland Walmart stores to permanently close. KPT, Fox, Oregon. It's not, I don't know if it's all in Portland, but it's this little town where their biggest store is Walmart. So let's watch the video. Let's get it.
Doors are closing at the only 2 Portland Walmarts, and hundreds of customers are left finding a new place to shop.
Fox 12's Connor McCarthy spoke to some of those customers and joins us live now in Southeast Portland to tell us how this will impact how many low-income Portlanders, rather.
Well, Pete and Riel, this Walmart location here on Southeast 82nd Avenue is one of 2 Portland locations that will be closing. The other is in North Portland on Hayden Meadows Drive. Now, I spoke to customers at both locations, and they say the closing of these Walmarts will have a huge impact on their neighborhoods. It's a closure that will impact hundreds of Portlanders.
I was kind of shocked, because it is a store that we go to for things like, laundry detergent, trash bags, the essentials.
Walmart is closing its only 2 Portland locations, leaving many customers who rely on the big box store unsure of where to go next. Amanda Paul is a regular shopper at the Walmart on Southeast 82nd. She relies on the store's affordable prices to keep her family well stocked.
Safeway is the go-to store if I have to, but that's 3 times the prices that I would spend here. So, what are we going to do? You're going to have to go further? Well, then you got gas money, so you might as well just pay for it at Safeway at this point.
Walmart says they're closing both Portland locations because they were not meeting financial expectations. But customers wonder if it's shoplifters impacting the store's bottom line.
We got to resolve the shoplifting one way or another if that is simply the problem. It's got to stop.
It's not just Amanda, but many households in the Lentz neighborhood surrounding Walmart rely on the store to meet their needs. According to a 2017 Portland State University study, the Lentz neighborhood is considered to be a food desert. This means there's no easy access to affordable groceries for one of Portland's poorest neighborhoods. At the time, the study named the Walmart and a Winco nearby as the closest affordable stores for groceries in the neighborhood. After March 24th, there will be just Winco.
We live near some low-income housing, and I know that some people are here weekly, so I don't know where they're going to go.
Well, Pete and Riel, I did reach out to Walmart to see if shoplifting is one of the contributing factors for pulling business out of Portland. I also asked to see if there are plans to bring business back into the city in the future, but I didn't get a response.
All right. So check it out. First off, notice the Edomite lady immediately went to shoplifting, as if if the items in Walmart aren't insured. But the lady immediately went to shoplifting. Second off, you hear what they said? The poor neighborhoods. So they took the closest grocery stores, the closest place to get food, out of the poorest neighborhoods. And this is what I was telling y'all is coming. We're gonna have some Bible scriptures to go into, but this is what I was telling y'all was coming. The poorest neighborhoods are about to get this. You understand? The poorest neighborhoods are about to feel the wrath of what's coming. The poorest neighborhoods. So it's one of the reasons that I wanted to go into that and wanted to break that down, is because I wanted to show this. It's already starting to happen in America. The famine has already begun. It's capitalism 101. You got to make money. You got to make money. It's got to be profitable. If you're doing it and it's not profitable, once people start losing their jobs, income starts coming down, sales in the stores aren't as high. They're not buying the things as many things because the prices are going up because of the inflation on the food. Guess what they're going to do? Shut it down. Come into a neighborhood near you. Matter of fact, if y'all know some Walmarts, because I've been noticing this happening a lot in a lot of different places. If y'all know some Walmarts or food stores or places like that that's closing down in your neighborhoods, throw it into the chat, man. We'll talk about it, man. And without further ado, we're going to get this last video, which is called Pakistan's Food Crisis, or Pakistan Food Crisis. Price of wheat skyrockets due to the poor harvest, right? So wait, I wanted to go to this video, this Walmart video, because this video was 7 days ago, right? So I wanted to let you know how recent some of this stuff is happening. This video was 9 days ago, right? So this is not something that happened last year. This is happening right now. This one is a 1 month ago. You see that? 1 month ago, y'all. This one right here. So it says Pakistan food crisis. Price of wheat skyrockets due to poor harvest. Let's get into it.
These low-income workers in Islamabad scramble to buy a bag of government-subsidised flour. Inflation disproportionately affects the poorest in society. Across Pakistan, many are struggling with the rising cost of living.
It's been hugely difficult to live on our earnings. I'm a daily labourer. I have to queue up for up to 3 hours to purchase subsidised flour. The regular prices are unaffordable.
Soaring inflation is just one challenge. Pakistan is also facing a foreign exchange crisis. These importers are protesting outside a bank about a shortage of dollars. They can't get credit to pay for the goods they're importing. It means thousands of containers packed with essential food items, raw materials and medical equipment are stuck at the port in Karachi.
We demand the government immediately provide dollars so that we can get our consignment released from the port and prevent huge losses in shipping fees.
Importers who've been in the business for 35 years say they've never seen it this bad.
We have barely 25 days of stock left. If the dollars are not released immediately, there will be an immense shortage of grain during Ramadan, meaning further hardship.
Pakistan is still recovering from last year's historic flooding. At its peak, more than 1/3 of the country was underwater. At least 1,700 people died, and damages are estimated at nearly $40 billion. Last week, the United Arab Emirates agreed to defer the repayment of a $2 billion loan and provide an extra $1 billion. But with the national debt running at nearly 90% of GDP, Pakistan is appealing for more help from the global community. Victoria Gatenby, Al.
So Pakistan's having it bad, a hard time. Matter of fact, I read an article talking about how they showed them all lined up and behaving nicely on that video, but I read an article and seen a video where they was crushing each other, and they said that was happening quite a bit. Like people was stampeding, and a lot of the older or more frail people were getting injured from the stampedes, and some even deaths. Think about that, getting stampeded to death because y'all running to get the food. So I wanted to bring that up just to show proof that everybody should be prepared for what's coming. This famine is no joke, and it's coming. It's at people's front door, right? So we're gonna start at Isaiah 3, and we're gonna start at 1, right? It says, "For behold, the Lord of hosts, doeth take away from Jerusalem, from Judah, the stay and the staff," right? The whole stay of bread, right? So of food, and the whole stay of water, right? And of water. The mighty man and the man of war, the judge and the prophet and the prudent and the ancient, right? So this judgment is coming. You understand? Like it says in Ezekiel, it says, start in my temple. We know the temple of God is his people, right? So start in my holy temple and slay utterly old, young, maid, right? And leave none except those who have the mark of the Lord, right? This is what it says. It says, go to those who sigh and cry and put a mark upon their foreheads, who sigh and cry for all of the abominations done in Jerusalem. And then it says, he told the angel to go and get everybody else except for those who had the mark or was around, in that area, right? Except for near. That's what I mean. That's what the reason I said near. It says don't come near any who have the mark, meaning don't come around their area. It doesn't say except those who have the mark. It says don't come near any who has the mark, right? So this is what it's saying. This judgment is coming. The same judgment coming on the world is coming on us, and it's gonna hit our people hardest first. That's why I make these videos, not to give the word. I want to give this word out so everybody can get in the word and learn and get closer to God. And the other reason I make these videos is so people could be prepared for what's coming, right? Because what's coming is rough. So the second scripture is Amos 8, right? We're going to start at 11. It says, so we can know. And the reason we're going over this is to show that this famine is bigger than just food. The word will be gone. Right now, while y'all have the word and y'all have all these other books, study, 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 study. Write that word on your heart. Put every story, try to paint the stories of the word into your heart like a cartoon, like a movie. You know how you could still think of songs you heard when you were a little kid, your favorite theme songs and stuff. I don't know if y'all have that type of memory, but if you do, paint this word on you like that, because otherwise, look what's about to happen. It says, behold, the days come, saith the Lord God, that I will send a famine in the land, right? Because a famine's about to come. Not a famine of bread, nor a thirst of water. We know that's coming, but it's speaking of something more. That's why it says not. It's meaning like, let's get to it. All right, don't have a thing for not. But that's why it's saying not a famine of bread and water. It's saying not this alone. It's bigger than that, right? But of hearing the words of the Lord, right? And they shall wander from sea to sea, from north to even east, and they shall run to and fro and seek the word of the Lord, and shall not find it. In the day shall the fair virgins and the young men faint of thirst. They shall swear by the sin of Samaria and say, thy God, O Dan, liveth, in the manner of Beersheba liveth, even they shall fall and never again rise up, right? But the reason I wanted to go into this is because during this time, understand this, and you're not going to be, you know, I know it seems plausible that you could just put your books in a tote, but I don't think people understands how you have to live from move from one place to another. See, when I say the wilderness is a smart idea, that's still a temporary structure. It's best to go out there, get used to the land, to the wilderness, learn plants, agriculture, how to be out there. So that way, when it comes time for you to have to go to the next place, you'll be able to set up site in another wilderness area, in another place outside of, like, I don't know how people think they're going to be able to live just great, comfortable lives where you never went camping, you never done anything like that, and then you're going to hit a switch. You're just going to hit a switch and go to the middle of nothing, with nothing, and figure it out. No, right now is a great time while we're in the fall to figure it out, while we're in that time, right? And make sure we print the word of the Lord on our hearts, right? Now let's get into this. Revelation 6, and we're going to start at 5. This is going deeper into the famine, right? It says, and when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil in the wine, right? Because this is, the plague is coming, brother. You understand? It says a measure of meat for a penny and 3 measures of barley for a penny. The reason it's saying that is because it's going to be hard to pay for that stuff, right? It's going to be hard to afford things. So the price is going to go down. The inflation is going up. But trust me, after this great firing that's about to happen in this country, the prices will go down because people won't have jobs to have money to afford food, right? And as the prices go down and become cheaper and cheaper, people won't get jobs back because people will be replaced by robots in this next system. Understand me. Don't think I'm crazy. Elon Musk and a lot of people talk about this, a lot of tech people. The technology is done. It's already pretty much done. It's in the final testing phases of getting everything working mechanically correct and at the speed that they would desire. But it's almost done. So they're gonna replace people with the robots. It won't be no way for people to get money. It won't be no way for people to survive. Right? Now, let's go to the next scripture. All right, let's get this. It says, Then spake Elijah unto the woman, whose son he had restored to life, saying, Arise, and go thou in thine household, and sojourn wheresoever thou canst sojourn, right? So go to wherever you can go, right? For the Lord hath called for a famine. So he's saying, get out of there. Go wherever you could go, because a famine is coming. And it shall come upon the land 7 years. And the woman arose and did after the sayings of the man of God. And she went with her household and sojourned in the land of the Philistines, right? 7 years. And it came to pass at the 7 years end that the woman returned out of the land of the Philistines, and she went forth to cry unto the king for her house and for her land, right? So it says, and it came to pass at the 7 years end. So she went and sojourned in the land of the Philistines at a place that she knew she was good at, right? And it says, and it came to pass after 7 years end that the woman returned out of the land of the Philistines, and she went forth to cry unto the king for her house and for her land. And the king talked with Gehazi and the servant of the man of God, saying, Tell me, I pray thee, all the great things that Elijah hath done, right? So she went to a place she knew she would be taken care of for 7 years, took heed of the warning, and then came back like, look, all my land, everything that I left away and I wasn't there for, I want that restored back to me, man. All that stuff I lost and was gone, taken away, I want it restored back to me, right? But it's the part to get is that when he told her the famine was coming, he said, man, go sojourn wherever you could sojourn. That means like wherever you could survive, right? It says, go thou and thine household, you and your people, and sojourn wheresoever thou canst sojourn. Like, go survive, right? It will be some people who are meant to do more than just survive because they built for different roles. But for the average everyday person, go and try to survive because the tough times is coming, right? Let's get into Genesis 41, and we're going to start at 36. It says, and that the food shall be for store to the land against the 7 years of the famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land perish not through the famine. Right? So you get that? It says, and that food shall be for store. It was talking about when he told him to gather in the good years. Right now, it's still food in the store. If you can go and grab a little bit here and there, is to bag it up, different things, until you could get land. And when you get land, get the agriculture going, get the farm going, get all of that stuff that can feed you going, right? And it says, and let them gather all the food of those good years that come, right? So gather and hold the food, right? And lay up corn under thy hand of the Pharaoh, and let them keep the food in the cities. And that food shall be for store. So you will be able to, he's selling it now for goods and for different things, right? To the land against the 7 years of famine. So you want to make sure you stored up enough for yourself, but also enough that could be given to the other people. It says, which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land perish not through the famines, right? So that the people, we know the land wouldn't have perished through the famine, but the people would have perished, and that's why it said land. So making sure that the people don't get perished, the people who existed on that land at that time, so they wouldn't perish, because if they would have perished, that would also mean of Joseph's brothers, right, in the 12 tribes, and there would be no 144,000, 12,000 in each tribe in Revelations, right? So let's get to this next scripture, which is Nehemiah 5. And I believe we're going to start at 3, right? Okay. No, we'll start at 1. And there was a great cry of the people and their wives against their brethren, the Jews. For there were that said, were our sons and daughters are many. Therefore, take up corn for them, that we may eat and live. Some also there were that said, we have mortgaged our lands, vineyards, and houses, that we might buy corn because of the earth. Therefore, were also, it says, there were also that said, we have borrowed money for the king's tribute, and laid that upon our lands and vineyards. Yet now our flesh is as the flesh of our brethren, and our children as the children. And lo, we bring into bondage our sons and our daughters to be servants. And some of our daughters are brought unto bondage already. Neither is it in our power to redeem them from other men. For other men have our lands and our vineyards, right? So this is important. Let's get on this. This is important because it says we have borrowed money for the king's tribute, right? We have mortgaged our lands and vineyards and houses that we might buy corn. These were things they were doing to survive. So it's important, whatever means necessary, create an avenue for survival. Because these were the things they were doing to survive. They knew what was coming. God showed them. So they were feeling it. Not God showed them. They're feeling it. It's here now. It's here. Like we were showing in the videos. It's here. They were actually feeling it. Let me tell you, we might have another year or two. Maybe if we're lucky. Before it get extremely bad and really bad. You know what I'm saying? With the famine. We might have a couple more years, man. We might have a year or two more than a couple. Only Lord and only God knows that. What I'm telling you is it's already started. And it's only going to get worse. And trust me, by the time that it gets really, really bad, it's going to be the worst thing we've ever seen. When it gets bad, it's going to be worse probably than anybody has ever witnessed or experienced. So, and that's not even really bad. It's already started. The bad is around the corner, y'all. We got to make sure we're prepared, right? So let's go into Ezekiel next. Ezekiel 5. And we're going to start at we're going to start at 14. It says, moreover, I will make thee waste, and a reproach among the nations that are round about thee, in the sight of all that pass by, so that it shall be a reproach and a taunt, an instruction and an astonishment unto nations that are round about thee, when I shall execute judgment in thee in anger and in fury. Remember, he says he will bring us back with the poured out fury upon us, right? In anger and in fury. And in furious rebukes. I, the Lord, have spoken it. When I shall send upon them evil arrows of famine, right? Which shall be for their destruction, and which shall send to destroy you, which I will send to destroy you. And I will increase the famine upon you, and will break your staff of bread. So will I send a famine and evil beasts, and they shall bereave thee, and pestilence and blood shall pass through thee, and I will bring the sword upon thee. I, the Lord, have spoken it. Right? And the tough time is coming. And it's only going, the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. It's only going to continue to get worse. And that's why we definitely must be prepared for what's coming. I cannot stress that enough. That should be the name. That should have been the name of this video. Must be prepared for what's coming, right? Let's get Matthew 24:13 to find out how do you know that you must stock up, store, and start to prepare for this time? Because Christ told us, right? It says, and many false prophets shall rise, right? And we know that. It says, and many shall be offended and shall betray one another, right? And we know that that's what happened. It happens all the time. It happens in relationships. People can't, another person might be going through something or dealing with something. The other person get an attitude and they can't take what the person is going through. So instead, they're whatever they're going through, right? So because everybody's going through something. So one person is going through something and explain it to the other person, but the other person is going through something too. So it's going to make them less compassionate towards what that person is going through. Not saying that that has to happen. We should be compassionate. We should care what everybody is going through, even if we going through things, right? But what happens is, what tends to happen is people stop caring. So they'll just like, yo, why don't you do this? Or why don't you do that? So your problem now becomes easy to them. They're not listening to how difficult the problem that you're dealing with is, because they're dealing with the problem themselves. So they're like, it's not like what I'm dealing with. Oh, you have this issue going on, but I'm going through this. So a person's not trying to walk into your shoes, right? So that's what it's saying. It says, and then shall many be offended, right? Shall be offended towards, to put a snare in the way, hence to cause a stumble, to give offense. Shall many be offended? People getting angry, so guess what? They put a stumble. It creates a divide, which leads to the sin, the hatred of thy brother, the hatred of thy wife, all of these different things that we're not supposed to do. I'm not saying hatred is a sin, but hatred leads to sin. If you hate somebody, you eventually going to do something evil or wrong to them that is unlawful. You're not going to have the love and mercy that you would have, right? And then shall many be offended, and they shall betray one another, right? And that's what I was saying. Once a person is offended, the betrayal steps in. So instead of to care what another person, I'm talking about on a very mesquite level, instead of to care of what the other person is going through, even though you're going through something as well, which is how it shall be, right? Then it started betraying. Now you mad that the other person is even talking about this, and the betrayal starts. The betrayal starts in the mind. Oh, this person, they not going through nothing. They complain about everything. This, that, and the other, right? And shall betray one another. That's why if you hear me complain, you have to be close to me, because I don't even complain. Otherwise, I would never even complain. Like if you actually hear me like really like and like complaining, like, man, I'm tired of this. I'm in so much pain. You never going, because I'm not going. If for me to even express what I go through, first off, I had to get talked to by a person to even express that to y'all. So now I kind of feel comfortable expressing it a little bit, but I tuck a lot of it in, right? And shall hate one another, and many false prophets shall arise, right? And we know that's been happening, and it's happening even more, because nowadays it's happening with Islam, Christianity, and it's happening in Hebrew Israelitism, or I don't in Judaism or Israelitism. It's happening in everything, right? False people, right? False prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold, right? So we know we live in a cold world, ice cold. Like the middle of at the end of January, ice cold, right? But he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved, right? And that's what I wanted to go to. But he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved. Let's go over this. To stay behind, to await, to endure. To stay behind means to stay behind, away from the people. So when it says that one will go into the field and the other will not, the field is work. That's work. Other people are going to be going to their jobs, to their daily routines, and other people are going to be checking out. That's what it's saying. It's not, there's no rapture that's going to happen like Christians believe. That's not a thing. The rapture is like going to the new heaven and the new earth, or the dead rising up, or when Christ comes, some will be called to meet Christ. But it won't be like you just gonna you walk like they show in the movies, like everybody just out living a merry life and one person disappear. That's not what that scripture is saying. If you actually pay attention to the details, it's speaking of people going to work, people going and doing a task, and no longer in one not being there. One's gonna go and the other one is gonna be taken. Taken is of the spirit. The spirit is leading them out of the area, right? Not you flying to a spaceship, right? And it says, "And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come." Right? And that's what we minister for. That's the purpose of ministering. It's not about I'm not over your death. My job is not to punish you or beat you up, right? That's not my job. I'm not like, unless you is my wife or somebody that I'm according to the law would be responsible of, not saying responsible for, like I'll get punished. Everybody gonna get punished on their own. But like if you was my wife, of course I'm have higher expectations of you than I would have for other people. But for most people, I'm not putting my expectations high for you. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt, and I'm not gonna beat you up or judge you. But I'm not giving you those high expectations where I would even have to have any type of disappointment or try to do any type of multiple corrections with you, right? I'm gonna let you go through what you got to go through, right? Because my job is to spread this gospel. That's it. Once I say it, I don't have to say it no more. But now that makes me sad for people I care about, right? Because if I care about you deeply and I tell you the gospel and you're not hearing it, then that could mean your death. And I would like to see at least some of the people I care about in the kingdom. I would like to see all the people I care about in the kingdom, but I know that the likelihood of that happening is not possible, right? So just at least some of the people I care about in the kingdom, in Christ's kingdom, right? So let's go to the next one, which is Matthew 24:38, right? For it says, "For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking and giving in marriage into the day." Matter of fact, let's go up. It says, "But the day and hour knoweth no man," right? And remember, this is in Matthew. So this is while Christ was here, because Christ hadn't went to the heavens and opened up the books. Because I hear a lot of people say that, but God has never brought nothing upon the earth without preparing somebody before. Noah knew about the flood. Enoch, as a matter of fact, Enoch tried to save the world before the flood ever even happened. Noah knew about the flood so he could save his children, the animals, and everything that was coming. Lot knew about Sodom and Gomorrah so him and his family could get out. God is not about to do Rahab learned about Israel taking that city down so she and her family could get out. God is not going to bring something upon us without giving at least somebody instruction of what's coming, right? It says, so it's not speaking that nobody will ever know. That's not what it says. It says, "No man knoweth the hour," or no man, no, not even the angels, but my Father. And how does that make sense, right? Because what did the Bible say? That the angels and all of the holy creatures of heaven was waiting around the book for the Lamb to open it. So that was showing that Christ had to go up to heaven and open the books. And the books are only open at the time period in which the books need to be open, right? Now, I'm not saying all the books. I'm saying certain books. Certain things are given to those people during that time because they live in a time that'll be dealing with it, right? But it says, "But as the days of Noah were, right? Of Noah were, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be." And a lot of people don't understand Noah's time. There was wars going on. There was destruction. There was blood was crying to the Most High God. The blood of men before the throne, before the angels, to the Most High God. Until God sent the flood, right? It says, "For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating, drinking, marrying, and giving in marriage." right? So they were living their best lives. Noah warned them for 120 years. He prophesied to them that the flood was going to come. He took the last 5 years to build the ark. He spent 120 years prophesying to them, letting them know that was what was coming, right? But what were they doing? They were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage. They weren't preparing, right? They weren't storing. They weren't correcting their soul and getting right with God, right? They were just living their life as if life would never stop going. The same way we live now, as if like my life will stop, but eventually my child life will go and their life will stop, but eventually their child life will continue, right? Which is how people think of it in modern times. This is not, this is exactly what they were doing, right? Until the day that Noah entered the ark, right? Because they started panicking once Noah got into the ark and the rain started to come, right? And knew not until the flood came, right? So once the waters came, that's when they started panicking. What's this? Why is it getting so bad? Hold on, where's that ark that Noah was building? Noah, let us on, right? And took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. So a lot of people is going to live they best lives and live as if nothing's ever going to change. And guess what? Christ's going to pop up and it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Which is going to be hard for them to do that in this time coming. Well, no, it's not going to be, because it's going to bring the worst out of people. As food becomes scarce and money becomes tighter, you're going to see a lot of people. It's going to bring good out of some, but it's going to bring a lot of bad. A lot of the worst is going to come out of the worst people. And that's for everybody, Jews and Gentiles alike. The worst is about to come out of a lot of people when things get hard, right? It says, and knew not until the flood came and took them away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Then shall two be in the field, right? So two people went to the field. One shall be taken, the other one left, right? So it's saying two be in the field. Field was a task, a duty. So it's two people who worked in the field. The one shall be taken, the other one left. So it means one person going to the field, the other one is being taken away from the field, leaving. Two women shall be at the grinding mill. The one shall be taken and the other one left. The grinding mill is another form of work. It was something that they had to do to keep the communities going, right? It says, watch therefore, right? So, because it's not talking about, it says, watch therefore, for ye know not what hour the Lord doeth come, right? But know this, that if the good man of the house had known and watched, the thief would come, right? So let's go over watch. Guard, watch. So if the good house, it said if the good man of the house had known and watch, right? And what time that the thief would come, he would have watched. He would have been paying attention, to be awake, to see what's going on so you could be prepared for it. It would not have suffered his house to be broken into. He would not have let it happen, right? For his house to be broken up. Therefore be ye also ready, right? So you got to keep watch. You got to keep focus. You got to keep your spirit clean and everything else like that. That's a fact. Keep the laws, the commandments, the holy days, keep your spirit clean, all of that, right? But you got to watch what's going on in the world and make sure you're prepared for it. Preparation takes away fear. You understand? A lot of people are going to be afraid because there's no preparation. When you practice over, and I'm bring up sports again. Y'all know I love sports. But when you practice over and 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 over again in a sport, eventually it becomes a habit. So the fear is gone now. Like that first game, once you start running up and down that court, that fear gone. You out there balling now. You living your best life. Now, that's for if you get a lot of time on the court. If you only get a couple minutes here and there on the court, it might be different. I really don't know. It could be terrifying every time you get caught because you only getting this 3 minutes and you don't want to mess up and you want to do your best, right? For me, I'd have got in for those 3 minutes and I would have tried to ball out of control. it, says, it says, for in such an hour ye think not the Son of Man cometh, right? It says, who then is faithful and a wise servant, right? So, because like Isaiah said, who would believe his report? Who would believe what the Bible said is going to happen? That's what this all comes down to, is belief and faith, right? Whom his Lord hath made ruler over the household to give them meat in due season. You see? Meat in due season. Nourishment or food in due season. In a time and season. It says, blessed is that servant whom is the Lord when he cometh. It says, whom his Lord, right? Whom his Lord when he cometh shall find him doing so, right? Right? So if you paying attention, you doing the things necessary, it says, blessed is the servant whom his Lord when he cometh shall find him doing so. It says, who then is a faithful and wise servant, right? Whom the Lord hath made ruler over his household to give him meat in due season. Why did it say this? Because of this scripture, right? It says, if you would have kept watch, right? So it's saying, blessed to these people, the people who was keeping watch. Blessed is that servant, right? Whom his Lord when he cometh shall find him doing so. So that's keeping in everything that's good. The law, the everything, the customs, right? But it's saying also who was watching and staying prepared, staying vigilant for the time. It says, verily I say unto you, that he shall make him ruler over all his goods. But and if that evil servant shall say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, which is what people say. You can't tell me what time God coming. No, it says no man know when God coming. It could be 30, 40 years from now, right? This is what people say. This is what people say. When nobody knows the other person's relationship with God, so people will compare their relationship because they have one, because they can gain guidance from, understand them from, as if y'all have the same relationship. It don't always work that way. Every member of the body is created for a different purpose. You understand? It says, blessed is that servant whom the Lord when he cometh shall find him doing. So doing, right? Which is watching his house, not suffering it to be broken into. It says, verily I say unto you, that he shall make him ruler over all of his goods. It says, but and if that evil servant shall say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, and begin to smite his fellow servants, right? So God ain't coming. I could be however I want to be. I'm living my best life. To eat and drink with the drunken, right? It says, the Lord of that servant shall come in the day when he looketh not for him, and in the hour that he is not aware of, and shall cut him asunder, right? So it's not saying that eating and drinking with the drunken is a sin. It's saying that now is the time to get on your game, and you don't have time to be eating and drinking and partying. This is what it means, partying with the people who like to party, right? You don't have time for that, because when Christ come in the middle of your party and having your best life, when Christ come and you looking not for him, and you wasn't prepared for the hour, right? In the hour that he is not aware of, right? And you're not prepared for the hour, and shall cut him asunder and appoint him a portion with the hypocrites, right? One who answers an actor a hypocrite, right? There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And this is the end of this lesson plan right here. Oh, it wasn't an hour. Praise God. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. They're going to ask me how I'm liking Windows. I done had Windows forever. Anyways, on that note, I just wanted to say a couple things real quick before I hit the last wrapping it up. I wanted to say, dang, I forgot what I was about to say. Oh, I wanted to apologize for not making it to the live chats during the videos. Man, I literally been having a hard time staying up. My sleep schedule is off. So I was just gonna drop one video like I normally do and try to make it for 12, which I'm gonna do that, and I'm still gonna try to aim to make it for 12. But just in case I don't make it, I will drop 2 videos tomorrow, and one is gonna drop sometime in the evening time. And I will try on that video right there. I will try to therefore I can make it. If I can make it to both, you're gonna see me in a live chat on both videos, guaranteed. But if I can't make it to both, I'm gonna just make it to that. I don't even take pills. I try not to take the pills that often, but I've been taking them the last couple days because the pills do help me relax a bit with my body and my pain. It don't stop the pain. It just helps me relax. If I was to stand up or try to do something, I still kind of feel the same thing for the most part. But it does help me relax more. So I was hoping that I could get on a better sleep schedule. Didn't work. I was having a hard time making the 11 videos. Was making it too late to the videos. Making it to the videos just late, right? Having a hard time doing that. I moved the videos to 12. Made it to the first one last week on Friday and then missed both the videos this week because I don't sleep long. I'm not like a sleepyhead where I'm sleeping 12 hours or something. I literally sleep 4 hours a day. So 4 to 5 hours a day. So it's really just about what time I go to sleep. And I've been having a hard time going to sleep. So I just wanted to let y'all know that, and that I will be dropping 2 videos to try to make up for it. And I'm gonna figure out something going forward. Either get on a better sleep schedule, which I've been trying, but with this back, it do be kind of hard. So either that or I'll change the times of the schedule entirely to a time that I'm most likely up. Which if I do that, it would be between 5 to 10. I'm up. I'm normally up between 5 to 10. So I might do it in between those times. But I can fall asleep in between them. Normally 5 to 7 or 8, I'm like almost guaranteed up. But in between that, from 10, I could end up getting my sleep, my 4 hours at that time, or I could end up getting it at 5 in the morning, or I get it at 11, 12 o'clock in the afternoon. It's just whenever I can actually go to sleep. So with that, not only I'm not mentioning that to complain, I'm only mentioning it to apologize, right? It's my excuse because it is like literally something I'm dealing with for why I haven't been able to make it. I love being in the live chat because it's always positive. Everybody in there is always great. The other chat can get kind of rough, but the live chat is always great. So the water everybody who for watching the video and who gets in the live chat and who talks in my comment section, the water. And if you like the video or you didn't like the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed, and drop a comment. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the famine. Let me know what y'all doing to get prepared. If y'all got land, if y'all got food stored, weapons stored, what your plan is to survive this economic and systematic collapse before we enter this war, right? So without further ado, I want to say Thawada, which means thank you. Shalom, which means peaceful greetings. Kaulau Hayabah Shemi Shaya, which is all praises to the Most High in the name of His Son. And Barakatah, which is bless you. And on that note, peace. Y'all have a good one.